All right, family, what's going on? This is Herb Healer, Producer Points, and I got a special show for you today. I have the anointed, the appointed Mary Ann Bukeko from San Antonio, Texas. This woman's discography, as far as her education, as far as her organ playing, as far as her saxophone, keyboarding, I'm trying to get her into doing production, and so we're working on that. So, listen, I want you to give full attention to the knowledge base that this woman has, her journey, and it's been a good journey. But like I said, she's educated. And so what I want to do is just start from the premise of the advantages of being an educated, with the with the with the emphasis on an educated musician and their worth. Okay, so we welcome to the stage Mary Ann Bukeko. What's going on?
Hello.
What's going on with you today?
Nothing much. Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. So let's get right into it. How did your music journey start? Let's just start from there before we go into the educational piece.
My music journey started when I was about 9 years old.
Jeez.
Uh, yeah,
So I was, that mean I was 19 or something like that, right?
something like that. Yeah. Oh, my uncle was a deacon at a church, and so of course, being a deacon, he wanted to come open up and do all the things. So I'll be messing with the piano,
Mhm.
and also I had a cousin who had a piano at his house, and
Right.
nobody messed with it, and I would just kind of play around on it, and then I was like, oh, well, that sounds like something.
Mm.
And then it turned into something else and something else. And
Right.
that same church, my whole family, this is our family church.
Okay.
And the minister of music at that time, I guess she noticed something in me and she gave me a keyboard. It
Okay.
was a Yamaha PSR 6.
Oh Lord, that the PS.
Yeah.
We gotta start somewhere. I started on the Casio, so you know.
Hey, you're right. We got to start somewhere. So um, that's how I initially got started.
Mhm.
Mimi Red came to the church for a little bit and just took me under her wings right away.
Right.
So learned a lot from her
Mm.
and another guy named Joel Bryant.
Okay.
Um, I used to call him Big Brother Mean something. I don't remember what I used to call him, but I was like,
Right.
oh my God, this man is so mean. But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, I understand the things that he and others instilled in me as
Okay.
far as my playing is concerned.
Right. Now.
But that's where I got started.
Okay. Okay. So moving forward to using your adolescent side of the house, and I guess you have played for hundreds and thousands of groups, churches, and you know uh, people really probably gravitated to your organ skills. Uh, so you went to high school. Did you play in high school?
Yeah, I started playing French horn in sixth
Ooh.
grade. Didn't
Okay.
like it at all. So I switched to clarinet
Mm.
and eventually learned how to play saxophone actually outside of high school because clarinet and saxophone, they're kind of the same, so it was easy for me to make the switch.
Right. Okay. So high school. What got you into, besides the PSR or whatever that number was? What got you interested into the organ?
um I've always liked the sound of it.
Mm.
Initially I didn't think I could
Right.
play,
Right.
and then it was people like Mimi Red. It was like, well, yes, you can. It's easy. You do this and this, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
that's it. Okay. And then of course, playing the organ, you have to learn how to sustain your sound
Absolutely.
with your hands versus you have the piano, um, and there's a sustain pedal which helps you to sustain sound.
Correct. Correct. Okay. So got into organ keyboards. You probably, at this time you were in your 20s. So, what was the passion of you becoming actual educated in music?
I feel like it's just something that I've always. I knew I wanted to do it. In high school, the choral director, he would have the students like run the warm-ups and things like that. And because I was already a pretty well advanced pianist,
Right.
he pulled on me a lot. And at one point, I think I was the choir president or something like that. So he really was looking to me to do certain things.
Right.
But he seemed to push me more than others. Again, another person that saw something maybe I didn't at the time. But I enjoyed teaching, and I enjoyed the fact that I could get the students to get things in a way maybe others couldn't.
Okay. Right.
So,
That's automatically you're a teacher pretty much from this point.
yeah. Yeah, so when I became a senior, the choir teacher had some of us to take an advanced placement music theory test just to see how we would do, because I think in our own right, that group of students, we were pretty well advanced in our own right. So he always pushed us, and again, I was just doing as I was told. Like, I thought I was going to go to school to be a counselor.
Okay.
I never thought I would go to school for music education and become a teacher.
Okay.
But that's where the path led me. I was sitting in a class. I went to San Antonio College, junior college.
Okay.
And so across the way were all these music classes. So I went over and I just happened to find the person who was over the music department and started asking some questions, and I ended up changing my major at that point.
Wow.
To music, yeah.
Well, there it is. So here's a greater question. So now you got in school. How long did it take you to get your degree?
It took me, I would say, about 6 years.
Okay.
So my degree is music and education.
Okay.
So it's not your traditional 4 years, because you have the extra classes for education as well as music. But it took me a little bit longer because I got sick. I had a cancer scare. I had to stop for a semester.
Right.
It was crazy. And it was my senior year. So that year I learned there's a difference between being a senior in college and a graduating senior.
Okay. Well, there it is.
So I was just a senior, and I had to take off. My professors were absolutely amazing. Without them, I probably never would have graduated.
Okay.
But I took off, got well, came back, did my senior recital, did all the things that I needed to do to meet all the requirements for my degree, and I got out.
Oh, there it is. So you have a bachelor's or you have a master's?
I have a bachelor's, and I am currently working on my master's in music education at Texas Tech.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So now the big hoopla question that we're gonna ask is, since I know you've done a lot of gigs before you actually got your education and stuff like that. Now, how has it benefited you having your education as far as paying, dealing with churches and dealing with, different gigs and stuff? How does that help you doing your gigs and stuff like that, using your credentials?
It's helped me. I would say, as far as church is concerned, I have a very heavy choral, like conducting and teaching background.
Yeah.
Because that's just what I happened to do.
Right.
And it was back in college. It was kind of the same thing as high school. I was the TA for the choral director, so I picked up a lot of skills from her and just being her TA. Not even a voice major. I did study voice, but that was not my major. So taking all of those things, I'm able to put that in a church setting as far as teaching and helping the choir to grow, even as far as the band is concerned, because I'm a musician as well. Just being able to balance all of that out. Definitely appreciate the choir professor for the things that she instilled in me, because as far as church is concerned, I don't think I would be able to do that. Especially, it's kind of a lost art, or becoming a lost art, and I hate it. But hymns, being able to.
Now let's talk about the hymns. The hymns are important as a musician. You know, the hymns get off the instrument. That's what I say.
And that's exactly how my professor was. Like, she literally told me, "I will not graduate you if you cannot sight read hymns."
Well,
so yeah. So
okay. Well, let's talk about having a bachelor's degree and the money. Let's deal with that money. Has that benefited you since you have that bachelor's?
Absolutely. It's benefited me, because some gigs that I get, they prefer that you have a certain level of experience. Not always, you have to have a bachelor's degree. And of course, with teaching and the education side of it, yes.
Okay.
They prefer you have a bachelor's. They prefer that you have certain certifications. But really, I could say some of the stuff that I do, I didn't necessarily have to have a degree, because I was already doing it. But it definitely has its place for when I get certain calls, because again, my degree comes with certain skill sets that you can get without a degree.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I wasn't exposed to certain things in undergrad, maybe things would be different for me. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. So now let's go a little closer into the church a little bit more. When it comes to pastors, when they ask you to do certain things, and this, that, and the other, does that come up in the conversation as far as your education?
Oh yeah.
How does that look like?
I treat it just like any other, I guess, corporate America interview. They ask for my resume, so it's at the top of my resume. I have this education, I have this degree, I have these certifications.
Okay.
So, of course, the questions come up. What do I require as far as the salary is concerned?
Okay, so watch this. Yeah. Now, when you because I know that's a funny place, and really that's a hot topic.
You going there?
These internet streets, man, it's all over. YouTube is going bananas when it comes to that pay piece. So when you show that top document on your resume, what's the first response you get from the pastor?
Excitement, like, oh wow. And especially where I'm at, so now I live in Austin, so where I graduated from, everyone's like, oh wow, you went to Houston Tillotson. Oh, I went there, or my kids or my grandkids are going there now, so that's definitely
a plus.
Yeah.
So looking at it in retrospect, do you, because I personally know your skill set, but do you believe that because of, do you think that people respect you more with that document, or you didn't need the document and you still had a great skill set? What do you think?
It's a hit or miss thing, because I've been in places where I have my skill set, of course, but the people are like, who does she think she is? And then somebody else will come up like, you don't know who this is? This is her. She's this, she's that, she's that. And they're like, oh, but so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's cool. Keep that energy.
Okay, we gonna put this out here. We're not gonna put no names out here. So
No, no.
we had a situation, and I was trying to give you a hookup with an organization. We'll just leave it at that. And basically, they was trying to give you their little cap cut of what they wanted to give you versus what you had to offer. So in situations like that, what did you do in that situation where you know you had these qualifications, but they were basically not even meeting you halfway, even with your education?
I think that's a time where, in general, you have to be honest. You have to have those hard conversations.
Mm-hmm.
If they say, "Okay, this is what it pays,"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Well, I can't accept this job for this because this is what I normally charge for whatever reasons." And if they can go up to that, fine. If not, then it's also for the other party to be honest, say we can't do this, versus trying to just come up with something just to get you in, and then they don't do their end of the bargain.
Okay.
So those conversations are very, very important to have. And
Absolutely.
it took me a while to get to this point where I'm just like, okay, maybe I'll just ghost the person or the organization and just not say nothing instead of saying, hey, no, can you do a little more? And maybe they can.
You're right.
But you would never know because you didn't say anything.
That's right. Absolutely. So now we're going to bring it to a close. We're a couple of minutes into it, but what I want to do, I want you to encourage some young person that's really interested in music. I'm going to give you the mic and we'll close out with you, all right? So I want you to just share, if it will, what you would inspire a young person that wanted to get into music education, okay?
I would say definitely keep contending. Getting into music education, I enjoyed my time in college, and college is what you make it. There are some good days, and there's not so good days, but as long as you have a good group of people, communicate with your professors, you should come out fine. Again, keep contending. Make sure you're practicing. Make sure once you get in there, you get all the knowledge that you possibly can, and keep going.
There it is. So with that being said, this is Herb here with Producer Points, and it's been a pleasure to see this woman named Marianne Burkako come up here and do what she does, and to encourage people that are trying to get music education in their arsenal and having the right skill set. You have a great day.